Alongside Srikar Rajendran, I'm Ravi Kapur after game one of the 2025 NBA Finals, featuring a couple teams that most people did not figure to be playing for the championship, especially this early in their development. Now, of course, I'm talking about the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. Oklahoma City had a tremendous season. It was expected as they got to this point in the playoffs that they would potentially be the Western Conference representative, and they actually overcame a bunch of hurdles to get to this point. But the Indiana Pacers are certainly a surprise team. Most people did not have them winning any of the series that they ended up winning, but here they are, and they steal game one. And frankly, halfway through the fourth, they were down 15. I actually stepped away for a moment and thought, okay, well, this game's over. We're going to talk about Oklahoma City on their way to winning their first title, and the Pacers changed the script.
Yeah, they sure did. And on the note of how these teams got here, you start to wonder, the Thunder are already accelerating past where they were supposed to be. Their GM, Sam Presti, he's got first-round picks until 2030, and this team is in the finals this year. So no matter who wins or loses this series, you got to like where both teams are at going forward. But man, the Pacers, they just do not quit. We've seen it time and again in these playoffs, in the Cavs series, in the Knicks series. Anytime the Pacers are down by a sizable margin, they never say die. You can't quit on them because they always find a way to keep chipping away and keep on making runs. And it's also on the Thunder for not being able to manage those type of runs. But when you step into a place like Oklahoma City and you step into that atmosphere and you pull off something like this, where you completely stun the entire crowd and silence them, especially with what Tyrese Haliburton's been doing this entire playoffs, man, he's been on a tear. This team has all the momentum going right now, and Oklahoma City, to put it shortly, is looking for answers, and game two maybe can give some leeway into what we think that could be. But as of right now, obviously it's a momentum killer for OKC, who had the best record in the league this year. And for Indiana, you got to be thinking, hey, no matter what happens in game two, we just stole home court advantage. We can go back into Indy and just rally all the momentum, go up potentially 3-1, or who knows? Could a sweep be in order? I wouldn't bet on it, but I think this is going to be a very, very tough series for the Thunder.
Well, Rick Carlisle commented after the game, the head coach of the Pacers, thinking that this was going to be a long series, that this could go on for maybe the full 2.5 weeks that this is scheduled to go, if it does go 7. But this is an enormous victory for the Pacers, given the fact they were down 15, pulling it out with 0.3 of a second on a Haliburton jumper, almost from the three-point arc on the right wing. Still a surprising surge towards the end. Haliburton, only 14 points, but he did have a triple-double with 10 points and 10 rebounds and 10 assists as well. Let's talk about Obi Toppin for a moment. He has been such an energy boost off the bench. He was discarded by the Knicks. He's been an incredible energizer for the Pacers.
He has 17 points off the bench, 5 threes. And I mean, bench, that's the most important position when it comes to, or not position, but unit when it comes to the playoffs, because your bench unit is going to determine how far you go. The Cavs coming into this year's playoffs were thought to have the best bench on paper, and look what they did in the playoffs. The impact was just not there anymore, but the Pacers are regularly seeing contributions from everyone. It's not one guy carrying the entire load, and that's how champions are made, when you can get contributions from your entire team. Now, it may sound very simple on paper to do that, but it's hard to come by. And the Pacers are such a well-constructed group, and even the Thunder in that regard are well-constructed with their role players. You look at how they play defense and how they have every single guy, Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, Lou Dort. They have contributors everywhere, and the Pacers do as well. And this time, it was Obi Toppin who really came through. And ultimately, it led to the Pacers securing a 1-0 lead. Now, will that be the constant going forward? It won't. And that's the best part about the Indiana Pacers. There's not going to be a constant. You're going to get a different person every night that can give you a solid contribution. And that is a sustainable formula to win.
And another huge acquisition. If you think about the makeup of the Pacers, Haliburton was traded for, Toppin was traded for, and Pascal Siakam, a guy who played so well back in the 2019 finals. I remember being there covering the Warriors and Raptors, and even Draymond Green just acknowledged this summer that Siakam bested him in that matchup, and that was really the difference in helping Toronto upend the defending champions. Siakam, 19-10, once again, just a solid contributor across the board. He won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP award. A lot of people thought that should have been Haliburton, but Siakam, his role on this team, it just can't be underestimated how powerful, how important he's been.
Of course, and finals pedigree is a real thing. As much as we like to kind of overthink it, Pascal Siakam has a finals under his belt. Like he's been there, he's done it before in the Eastern Conference, and he's doing it again. He can be that voice for the other guys. He can be that leader. He can help coach them up when they need coaching. And that's what a veteran is supposed to do. And I think Pascal Siakam fits that role to a T. And especially with the production, with what we saw today, I mean, he is a contributor everywhere. He's rock solid. He's always a guy that you can rely on, to give you that type of production. And look, going forward, he's going to be very, very key. You could even say he's the X factor moving forward because Pascal Siakam, again, has that finals pedigree to him. And if we look at other key figures in the series, Rick Carlisle, we've seen him lead that Dallas Mavericks team to a championship win over that vaunted Miami Heat team. And I think, look, we look at the Pacers now and how they're constructed. The stars are all aligning. This is a great team. OKC's in for a really, really tough series here.
And the Pacers overcoming 18 turnovers at halftime. They ended up with 24 for the game. But, the Thunder have to be kicking themselves after looking at this game tape. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 38. They didn't get much from a number of the role players. I mean, Chet Holmgren, 6 points. Some of the other folks, Lou Dort was playing solid defense. But again, in the end, it did seem like the Thunder looked timid down the stretch.
It's absolutely stunning. For 99.99% of that game, you could have sworn that the Thunder were going to win. And you lose it all in the matter of, minutes. Like literal minutes decided this game. And the fact that the Pacers had as many turnovers as the Thunder's attempted free throws is ridiculous to me that they still were able to pull it off. But that's the glory of the playoffs and of the NBA. You get to see stuff like this happen. And I think it's absolutely astounding that the Pacers were able to pull it off because you look at the numbers throughout that entire first half and going into the third quarter, even for majority of that fourth quarter, they should not have won that game on paper, but they still did. And when you can pull wins out like that, it makes the going much easier for you knowing you were able to get that done.
Tyrese Haliburton, another clutch performance. And once again, the Pacers snatch a victory from the jaws of defeat. I mean, this was a game that they, by all rights, should have lost. They should have lost other games as this playoff run has exceeded all expectations. And once again, they pulled it out, winning 111 to 110. Game 2, if you're the Thunder, what do you have to do? I mean, obviously, for 3.5 quarters, they played great. They looked like they were in command. They controlled the game, and maybe they were going to control the series. This has to really force them to recalibrate about what they move forward to try to win a game here. What do you say to these guys after losing this game here in the final moments?
I think that's one of the toughest parts of being a head coach is trying to figure out the words to say, the game plan to implement going into game 2, because you had everything right. You had everything going for you. And then if you lose it all in those final seconds, I mean, the best thing that you can say is survive the runs. I think that's the biggest thing that you could say after this, because at the end of the day, Indy went on a 6-0 run to close the game. They outscored the Thunder by 10 in that fourth quarter. All you got to do is survive. That's what you have to do in moments like that. And especially with the home crowd behind your back, you were in an advantageous position to do exactly that, and they fell short. So going into game 2, I don't necessarily think you have to make wholesale changes, but again, survive those runs, and maybe you'll come out with the win in game 2.
Well, we'll see if the MVP of the league will come out even a greater force in game number 2. He had 38, but not enough as the Pacers upend the Thunder. We'll see you after game 2 for Srikar, Rajendran. I'm Ravi Kapur.